Hey, this is BA, and welcome to how WD Gann used the square of 9 in his trading. And I know there's a lot of information out there on the square of 9. You know, I've been in this field, the Gann field, for 20 years. I've been a trader 22 years, something like that. And I ran across a lot of different methods on, how can we put this? We'll call them sub-methods. They're not really what WD Gann was doing. It's kind of like a mixed methodology or a subsystem. And so what you want to do is you want to get to the true system. And the true system works off of WD Gann's time cycles. Okay. Well, unfortunately, in this video, I can't give you the time cycles, but I can tell you how to work with them, how to work with the square of 9 once you get the time cycles and once you understand the time cycles. So basically, I mean, I know a lot of you out there are probably, going from video to video from all these people. You're not going to find anything that gets you really working the square of 9 like WD Gann. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm going to tell you why you're not going to be able to find that. And the reason, again, is you have to have his time cycles. You cannot use the square of 9 without WD Gann's time cycles. Okay? It's impossible. You have to understand the time cycles. And I'm going to put up videos on time cycles. Not today, but they're coming. Okay. Let's get started on this and proceed further. WD Gann called the square of 9 the odd and even squares. That's what he referred it to. He stated in his Master Commodity course, beginning with 1 in the center, note how 7, 21, 43, 111, 157 all follow the 45-degree angle. Okay, let's look at that. This is the square of 9. Okay. And we'll find it. Right here on this one, 7, 21, 43, 70, 43, 73, 111, 157. This is what he was talking about right down here. And this is the 45-degree angle coming off of this. Now, then the question would be, how or why did he call it the odd and even squares? Well, what he's really keying you into, other than this is on a 45-degree angle, but what he's really keying you into is this. Notice 9, 25, 49, 81, 121, 169, 225, and so on. Those are the odd squares. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we take the square root of 25, it's 5. If we take the square root of 49, which is a very important number, we get the square root of 7. If we take the square root of 81, we get 9, okay? 11, 13, 15, okay? If we go the opposite way, we'll get the even squares. See, 16, 36, 64, 100, 144, 196, 256. Once again, if we take this, the root of 36 is 6, the root of 64 is 8, the root of 100 is 10, and so on. Okay, 6, 8, 10, 12. Those are the odds. Those are the even squares. And note that they are on a 180-degree angle. Both are on the 45-degree angles, but they're 180 degrees of each other. There's a reason why, and it's because because this is a calculator. Okay, this is a calculator. Another important thing, and we're going to be getting into, because this is crucial to understand, is around the outside, you'll see this outer circle, okay? And you'll see it's marked off here, 90, like this. If you go from the center and you go up this angle, this is 67.5 degrees here, okay? This is 45 degrees up here on this angle, okay? What you're going to learn in this is that highs and lows stop at a particular angle that repeats from the past. Now, I'm not going to show you the time cycles that they repeat from. That's beyond the scope of this presentation. What I'm going to do is I will show you how it all works, and that's the good part there. Okay. The square of 9 is a square root calculator. Remember, we saw the odds and evens going up opposite sides there. Example, let's say price made a high in a stock at 173.78 and then went down to a price of 140.62. Here is the math to calculate the distance in degrees that price moved within the squares, and that's what's important. Okay, we're going to see certain numbers that we know come up. Okay, 173, that's our high price from up here. The square root of that is 13.18. The low price up here is 140.62, and the square root of that is 11.85. What we want to find out is how far did price move between those two price points? How far in degrees on the square of 9? That's what's important. Okay, so we take 13.18 and we subtract 11.85 and we get 1.33. Okay, this is the two square roots here. We subtract them, we get a difference of 1.33. And we divide that by 0.005555. And now that's the number that makes the square of 9 work. Remember, Gann didn't have these handy dandy things we call calculators. He had to do it visually. Okay, so what on a calculator, this number here, 0.00555, will get you the degrees that price moved from a high to a low, or whatever you're checking there. Okay, so in here, a price moved a total of 239.4 degrees. And why is that important? Because it's right next to the number 240, which is our double trine. You take 120. And remember, even in the Gann emblem, you can see that the circle is divided by 3s. Well, those are called trines. And the trine points, of course, is 0 or origin, 120, and 240. This is very close to our 240. Okay, so in distance, its price stopped 240 degrees from where it started. Okay, and this is the actual move in the stock. Here, well, let's get the dates here so that you can see everything. We moved from a high on, this is IBM, by the way. We moved from a high on July 20th of 2015 to a good low here, and it also provided support here. We moved to a good low here on August 25th of 2015 at 140.62. This is the high and low that we used in our examples. Now, these are not just random points, okay? Look at how price responds to our line here. Okay, and it comes down and it sits right on it. Look how price responds to our line. Well, I've made a video about this line and why this is so important. These aren't just random highs and lows. You can't just approach a market and take random highs and lows and hope to get the best. Okay, you have to use the time cycles. This will not work without the time cycles. Okay, all right, so in this move on the square of 9, price moved from here to here. It moved 240 degrees, or double trines. Okay, 240 degrees. Let's get this off of here, and you can see that this is a real example. Price moved 240 degrees, or our double trine. Okay, now notice where this is, because let's go back. We stopped. We went from the 173 high down to 140.62. We want to find this number on the square of 9. Okay, it's right there, 140.62. Okay, it's between the numbers 140 and 141. If we draw an angle from the number 1 and we draw it up, okay, which is what we've done here, we can say that price stopped on our square of 9 angle of 101 degrees. See, this is our 90 degree angle. This is a 112.5 degree angle, and we're about midway in this. It calculates to 101 degrees. Okay, all we needed to know to make this work, all we needed to know to call that low in advance is this. on what angle is price going to stop at on the square of 9 on that date? Okay. Once again, all we would have needed to know is this point here. What angle is price going to stop on our low date? Now, our low date is a time cycle pivot, okay? So there's ways of calculating that in advance. This 101 degree angle is knowable, okay? It repeats from the past, just like most of Gann's things. It repeats from the past, all right? Now, no, it could have stopped. So going into that trade at that bottom, what you would have known at is the 101 degree angle is live, okay? That means this price could have stopped at any one of these prices along the 101 degree angle along this line here, okay? That would have given you a price, and I'm going to use whole numbers, of 192, 141, 97, 62. Well, how do we know it wasn't going to go down to 97 or 62? Well, it could have theoretically, but it happens extremely rare. How do we know it's not going to go to 192? Well, our time cycle tells us it's going to be a low, and we would have to go up to a high for it to be 192. So the only option that's feasible is our 140, 141 area. That's it. That's all we would have known, and that would have been a fantastic trade, okay? Then there's other ways of locking that in, and that's what we're doing with the distance that it traveled and so forth. You see, it's beautiful how it works. Okay, let's move on. And I get this question a lot, does Gann or the square of 9 or whatever work on currencies? Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's take a look at but an example of that now. Here we are with Euro US dollar. This is a good high, and this is a good low. Now look again at this line that I've got drawn in. See how price responds to that line? It goes right up against it, and it bounces off of it and goes down. You'll see this line talked about in many videos, and it's explained in some. Okay, and then down here when we get price is getting ready to zone in on this, and we bounce around that line. Look how on that day it opened up below the line. The line acted as resistance and it shot down. On this day it acted as support and support there until the low was in. I call this the support and resistance line. It's in many of my videos, okay? So once again, keep in mind these are not two random points. These are time cycle points. In order for you to get the square of 9 working, you must understand the time cycles. Okay? And with that said, let's get started on this move. We've got a high here. You can go ahead and write this down because we're going to be using these calculations. We've got a high here of 1.1495. The date is October 15 of 2015. And we move down to a low on December 3rd of 2015. At 1.0517. Okay, go ahead and write those down. Okay, we have to move the decimal, and that's a big secret in the Euro US dollar. So a price of 1.149 becomes 1,149.5. This is the secret to getting price working on currencies. What I'm saying there is this is the secret to get WD Gann's price system that works with the time cycles working on currencies. You have to move the decimal just like we did here. Okay. Once we've done that, the rest is simple, and we've did it before. October 15th of 2015, the price is 1,149.5. The root equals 33.9. Okay. The root equals 33.9. December 3rd of 2015 price was 1,051.7. The root is 32.42. 33.9 minus 32.42 equals a distance that price moved within the squares of 1.48. We divide that by our magic number of 0.005555 and equals 266.6. Note this is right close to the 270 degree angles. If you're not familiar with your important angles, you take 90, 180, 270, 0. Okay, that's known as a square, and 270 is a square within the circle. All right, a little bit of extra bonus information for the noobs. I had to squeeze this on here because this was relatively difficult to get on these slides to show you. Once again, if we go back here, okay, our low price of 1051.7, where is that on the square of 9? We take and we draw a line from 1, which is our center, out here, and we'll just call it, it's right in this area, but we'll call it 1052. Okay. Now, if you notice, again, it could have stopped at any one of these numbers. It could have stopped at 926, 808, and so on. Any one of these it could have stopped on. This angle is 213.75 degrees. Once again, the angle is 213.75 degrees. Okay. Okay. All you would have known is to tag that bottom on the euro US dollar. All you would have known is that you were going to stop on the 213.75 degree angle. That's all you would have had to have known. You would have nailed the price, and once you have that, okay, once you have that price here, okay, 1052. Then you can reverse the math that we did before and backtrack and say, okay, this 1052 squares out because it's 270 degrees from our high, which I drew the line from, the support and resistance line. You see how it all locks in? It all comes together? Now again, and this is important, without understanding the time cycles, you can take this whole method and chuck it right out the window. Ain't nothing going to work. You're wasting your time. Trying to be honest with you. Okay? So in summary, the square of 9 is a square root calculator designed to give two indications. Number 1, the distance in squares that price moved from a former time cycle pivot. Number 2, the angle price stopped on, which repeats from a past time cycle pivot. To truly get the square of 9 working, one must understand the time cycles. Welcome to the beginning. This is BA. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.